In the early 1930s, Germany was a nation in despair. The scars of World War I and the Great Depression left millions unemployed and desperate for change. Amid this turmoil, a charismatic leader emerged, Adolf Hitler. With fiery speeches and promises of restoring Germany's glory, Hitler and his Nazi party rose to power. By 1933, he was chancellor, and within months, he transformed Germany into a totalitarian state. Unemployment plummeted, infrastructure improved, and the German people, weary of hardship, hailed him as a savior. But behind this facade of progress lay a dark agenda. Hitler's vision was one of domination. He sought to expand Germany's borders and purge the nation of those he deemed inferior, particularly the Jews. In 1938, he annexed Austria, his homeland, and soon after, Czechoslovakia. The world watched nervously, but Hitler's ambitions didn't stop there. On September 1, 1939, German forces invaded Poland, igniting World War II. Britain and France declared war, but Hitler's armies were unstoppable in the early years. By 1940, France had fallen, and Hitler stood triumphant in Paris. Only Britain, under Winston Churchill's defiant leadership, held out against the Nazi onslaught. But Hitler's overreach proved fatal. In 1941, he launched Operation Barbarossa, invading the Soviet Union. Initially, the German army advanced rapidly, but the harsh Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance turned the tide. The Battle of Stalingrad in 1942 to 1943 became a catastrophic defeat for Germany, marking the beginning of the end. Meanwhile, the Allies gained strength. The D-Day invasion in June 1944 opened a second front, and Germany was squeezed from both east and west. As the war dragged on, Hitler's mental and physical health deteriorated. He retreated to his bunker beneath Berlin, isolated from reality, still issuing orders to armies that no longer existed. The Holocaust, his genocidal campaign against the Jews, reached its horrifying climax, with millions murdered in concentration camps. By early 1945, Germany was in ruins. Allied bombings devastated cities, and the Red Army closed in on Berlin. In April 1945, with Soviet forces just blocks away, Hitler married his longtime companion, Eva Braun. The next day, they committed suicide, their bodies burned in the bunker's courtyard. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered unconditionally. The war was over, but its toll was staggering. Over 50 million people had died, and Europe lay in ruins. Hitler's dream of a 1,000-year Reich had lasted just 12 years, leaving behind a legacy of destruction and shame. The world vowed never to forget the horrors of his regime, a dark chapter in human history that would echo for generations.